Lawmakers asking the federal government. An audit released by the Department of Commerce Office of Inspector General revealed that much of the workforce is overpaid, and they can't even verify if workers are actually showing up at the office. Well, joining us this morning to break down the audit is CEO and founder of OpenTheBooks.com, Adam Mangievsky. Good morning to you, sir. A year ago, you and Senator Joni Ernst co-authored an editorial at Newsweek titled Club Fed that pointed out problems with federal bureaucracy, which that's not really surprising there, but what'd you find?
So we found that the federal workforce is highly compensated. There's a new minimum wage in most federal agencies, and it's $100,000 on average of pay for a federal employee. And it's not only about the pay, but it's also about the paid time off. If you hit your 3-year anniversary, you get 44 days of paid time off, and that's nearly 9.5 weeks. But Ernst and I couldn't actually verify a number of different things, like who's working. There was 350,000 names redacted, blanked out from the federal payrolls. And Jan, these aren't spies. These are regular rank and file federal employees. In the last year of the Obama years, there was only 2,300 employee names redacted. We also found 280,000 work locations redacted. So we couldn't figure out who's working or where they're at or what they're doing.
Right. So the senator pushed for these audits to be published. The Department of Commerce is the first. So what did we learn yesterday from this particular audit?
Yeah, so at the Department of Commerce, and they've got 47,000 employees, we learned that they can't even verify if an employee on a telework contract, that means they're working from home, they got to come into the office 2 days every 2 weeks. They can't even verify whether they were ever in the office. We also found out the Department of Commerce, it wasn't checking about what location their employees were working from. And so they overpaid their workforce by 23%. Now, there was only 31 employees involved in this audit, so it's a very, very small sample size, and 7 of the employees were overpaid $43,000.
So what is the Commerce Department going to do about the results here?
Well, it's not enough. They're moving too slow, and they've had these systems, the lack of systems in place for too long. We're 4 years since the start of the pandemic when these telework and remote work policies were put in place. And so, Jan, think about this. With 47,000 employees, this could be a $65 million overpayment problem. So the department says they're finally going to implement basic in-house financial accounting controls, but they're not going after the tens of millions of dollars that their workforce has potentially been overpaid.
And now you've got hardworking American taxpayers seeing this as another example of no accountability. And Ernst calls it taxpayer theft. So where do we go from here, Adam?
Well, it is taxpayer theft. It's a big ripoff. Now, this is a great opportunity on a presidential year for the candidates to weigh in. Biden's president. He signed this law mandating this audit that Ernst put forward. She's a Republican from Iowa, on a bipartisan basis. So he could actually take the mantle, issue an executive order, and create some accountability on behalf of taxpayers. And of course, this is a great issue for former President Donald Trump because it goes right under the rubric of drain the swamp, that the bureaucracy is literally ripping off the U.S. taxpayer.
CEO and founder of OpenTheBooks.com, Adam Mangievsky, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.